That was my butt. I am just trying to fix my camera because it was lagging. Hello. Can someone refresh my memory? Are we doing, like, last week for the lesson, we did the death card, temperance, and the devil, right? Because it's a tarot lesson day. Bless me! Sorry, that was dramatic. I'm a little early this morning, too, so we normally don't start until 11 a.m., but... I should start writing this shit down, but I think we're on the tower, the star, and the moon. So we're almost through the major arcana. Do we want to keep going with this? Do we want to do the minor arcana, or do we want to do 2 collective readings per week instead? Because that is the other option. I'm going to leave that open to y'all. Maybe I'll do a poll on Twitter, or what's the other social media that I have? Instagram. Words were hard today, apparently. It's been a really long fucking week. I said the F-bomb. Yeah. It was the death card. Okay. So. All right, y'all. I'm going to give it 2 more minutes, and then we will start a little early today. Because, again, it's been a really long week, and I'm exhausted. Can y'all believe it's already April? Crazy to me. Hello. You're liking the idea of learning the minor arcana, but that's just me. Okay. Well, I'm going to put a poll on my socials, and we will see. Honestly, your girl will forget, so we're going to do that right now. Because I have ADHD. What am I doing? See? See? Yeah, I remembered. We're good. Let's do it like this. All right, once I'm done, we will start today's session. What? I can't do a poll on my story anymore? I found it. I just can't adult. I'm so tired this week. I have been going through some shit, okay? Somebody told me on my Discord server that, like, it's the Aries energy and some sort of transit. And I just want to... Whoever up there said that this was acceptable. Okay, it's posted. Y'all can go vote. I will try to remember to post that on TikTok so that we can get more votes. And for those of you that are watching this stream later, please go vote for if you would prefer to do the minor arcana or if you would like to do a second collective reading stream per week. On my Instagram. Forgot to add that. Y'all, I'm scattered today. I'm sorry. All right, so we're going to be doing the Tower, the Star, and the Moon. We are finally on my favorite tarot card, by the way, in the entire deck. Good morning. Before we get started, too, I want to remind y'all that you can subscribe through Prime. So if you have a Prime membership, you can actually sub through your Prime, and then you don't have to watch ads. The way I just found all of those immediately. I can't believe how quickly we got here. I feel like it was just yesterday we started this series. It's also kind of crazy to think that we've been like streaming now for over a month. I don't know when my first official stream was at this point, but 'tis crazy. We got here so fast. Can y'all guess out of these three today which one's my favorite tarot? I'm curious. I feel like if you know me at all, it's pretty obvious. What am I looking for again? Right. I must have passed it. There it is. No, but that's a good guess. I am an Aquarius, so the star is connected to my energy, but no, it is not my favorite. Do we have one more guess? Anyone wanna... You got like 50-50 shot. It is the Tower. It is totally the Tower. I love it. It's such a misunderstood energy, which relatable. You've caught 2 lives on here so far, and you finally have the Lightseer Tarot deck. Oh, I love that. It's such a beautiful illustration. The deck is absolutely stunning. Okay. We're going to start. We're going to get into it. We're going to get into the nitty-gritty. And of course, we are starting with my favorite tarot card. So, this is the Raider White illustration. This is the Lightseer's illustration. I love this particular illustration of this. Can y'all guess why I love this illustration? No guesses? That's okay. All right. So we're going to do what we normally do. Can y'all give me 5 differences that you notice in these 2 cards? And then we'll do 5 similarities. Start with 5 differences. What do you notice in this one and in this one that are not the same? It's so pretty. It is absolutely stunning. Hello, Ethereal Goddess 420 or Eternal God. I can't really see right now for some reason. These are new glasses, but I think my eyes are just done. Come on, y'all. 5 similarities. Or differences. Sorry, 5 differences. We got this. Okay, blue background. What else we got? Don't be shy. There's no right or wrong answers here. This is just for funsies. The lightning bolt. Okay, what else do we got? No one? So quiet today. Are we all just like going through it this week? Are we all exhausted? I'll tell you what. Give me what you see or feel, and I will be content. Give me 5 things that you think of that come to your consciousness. What do you see? What do you feel? What are you drawn to? Come on, y'all. Okay. I love that. What else we got? What else are we drawn to? What do we feel? Lightseers gives force of nature. I love that. 3 more, everyone. 3 more. The heights? Okay. What else? Just 2 more, people. Animals trying to escape and people trying to escape. Okay. And then 1 more. There is no right or wrong answer. The stars and the little lights. Okay, I like that. So, first and foremost, one of the things that I want to talk about with the depiction of these 2 images is the difference. This, to me, when it comes up in a client reading, this is an omen of existential crisis. It's an omen that there is a really big shift happening in someone's life, and the change is likely a little bit unexpected. Because if you look at this imagery, there's 2 people falling out of a tower, right? So this is usually like the end of a relationship, the end of a career path. It's something that is ending in a destructive way. This particular imagery, when it comes out in a reading, it's more internalized to me because this is like a natural disaster. So while it can't be avoided, I typically take this particular version of the tower as an internal crisis. So maybe this is going to be like, what do they call that? Your midlife crisis. Maybe this is going to be some sort of an epiphany that you have about your shadow. Maybe it's going to be a part of you coming to terms with some truth. However it aligns, right? Internal, external. That's just the differences in images. Now, as a whole, I think the tower, like I said already, is a really misunderstood card because a lot of people see it and they immediately get triggered. They immediately think the sky is going to come crashing down on them. The whole world is going to fall apart. And while I'm not going to deny that sometimes that can be the case, 9 times out of 10, the tower showing up in a tarot reading is a warning. It's a warning from your spiritual guides, God, whatever it is that you believe in, saying, hey, change needs to happen. You can either take initiative and make that change happen yourself, or we're going to make that change happen. And in my lived experience, the destruction and the chaos and the rug being pulled out from under you, the negative effects of the tower card come from when you do not make the change yourself and you let spirit do it. Because when spirit does it, they're like, bet. And then it's just a whole tornado in your life. And I know all of y'all have experienced that at least once. Oftentimes when you experience this once or twice, you no longer allow them to make the change. And when they warn you, you make the change yourself because you know from experience that when they do it, all hell breaks loose. So the tower is basically, in my opinion, it's destruction of your old ways of being or thinking or acting. It's destruction of patterns in your mind or relationships or ideologies that no longer resonate with who you're becoming. Now, from a guidebook perspective, this can also be called the house, like an alternative name, the house of God, fate, and lightning. That's why I love it so much, because it like literally is fate. It's you can make change or we can make change. You decide. The tower, yeah, it's basically an omen that like you need to surrender to the things that are out of your control. You need to let go of your need to create unrealistic expectations or whatever it might be. And the more you let go of all of that, the easier the transformation becomes. Because one of the beautiful things about the tower is no matter how it unfolds, it's leading you towards a revelation and an awakening within yourself. It's leading you to a new height. It's leading you to something larger than life, if you will. And that almost always means you have to kind of go into the nitty-gritty part, right? That's not all that great, that makes you uncomfortable, that you don't really want to dig into. But you can either do it yourself or you can let spirit do it. And again, in my lived experience, when spirit does it, it fucking sucks. So, this is also connected to the Chariot, which is interesting if you think about the intense energy, if you think about the intense energy that the Chariot embodies and then think about the intensity of the Tower card, they kind of go hand in hand. This also is associated with the planet Mars, which is also Aries' home planet. So like that can correlate towards the Tower. Some people see it as Aries energy. Some people just see it as Mars energy. Take it however it aligns. Ultimately, the element to this card is fire. And if you think about Aries and how destructive they can be when they're not healed, very Tower-esque, eh? The Hebrew letter is pi. I'm not pronouncing that right. I'm so sorry. The symbol is your mouth. The meaning is chaos. The tree of life pathway is 17, or 17th. The chakra is your crown chakra and your base chakra. So for heaven and earth. And then the key meanings can be destruction, enlightenment, that kind of thing. I love the Tower card. I absolutely love it. I know people see it and they're really intimidated, but I'm just like, yeah, change. But I'm also a weirdo, so change is not something that I fear. At one point in my life, I definitely did, but now that I am standing where I am, it doesn't scare me. And the beautiful thing about the Tower card is even though it's change, even though it is the destruction of old, whether that's ways of thinking or relationships, it also is freedom. It might be upsetting, it might be challenging, it might be difficult to come to terms with the truth of what you're accepting or the change that's unfolding. Because yeah, it's sudden change and it's upheaval and it's chaos, but it's so freeing that you end up in this position where you recognize not only the revolution that you're going through within yourself, but the awakening that you gain from it. Now, when it's in the reverse position, do we have any guesses of what this might be? Any? One guess will suffice. Good news? Okay. I could see that. When the Tower card shows up in the reverse position, this is almost always an omen for a personal transformation. So instead of just this one card showing internal, this is like when this is reversed, no matter what tarot card you have, no matter what deck you're using, you are going through an inner shift. Some sort of personal transformation is leading you forward. It does usually indicate that you are afraid of change. It does usually show up to kind of say, hey, why are we fearing the change that's inevitable? What part of us is uncomfortable with change? The other thing that this can sometimes symbolize is averting some sort of disaster. So if this comes up in a reverse position, it can usually be an omen that you have avoided a tower moment. Some sort of choice that you made for yourself, whatever change you had to do, helped you to shift forward and avoid a bigger existential crisis, essentially. Okay? Now, the Tower has some combinations that I'm going to read off to you. The Tower and the High Priestess together can be an omen that you already have an inner sense of what major change may be on its way. The Tower and the Death card, sweeping change and powerful forces at play. That's when the universe is taking control, in my opinion. The Tower and the Star, this is one of my favorite combinations. It's also, they follow each other in the major arcana, right? So the Star is literally right after the Tower. So that combination is a favorable combination that suggests you can harness the power of change to bring about personal transformation and a renewed sense of faith. Love that so much. Then we have the Tower and the Two of Cups in the reverse position. This is an omen of an ending of a relationship or a partnership of some form, whether it's platonic, romantic, or familial. That's usually what it's depicting. Then the Tower with the Three of Pentacles reversed is a falling out with your colleague, business partner, peers, will lead to business failure. I also see that as a loss of a job. So you get fired, you lose your job unexpectedly, the company goes under, whatever it may be. And then the Tower and the Five of Pentacles is an omen of financial failure and misfortune. Means you're down on your luck. And if it's in the reverse, the Wheel of Fortune and the Tower are a combination of luck being on your side, and you can avert disaster by being in the right place at the right time. The Tower reversed and Death reversed is a huge omen that my client or you or myself, whoever you are reading for, is heavily resistant to change, and it's preventing you from moving forward. They just showed me like a visual. Whenever I see that, it's like having your head buried in the sand. And then the Tower reversed and the Sun card is major change will be much less impactful than you expected, and you may see a positive consequence of change much more quickly. And then lastly, the Tower in the reverse with the Four of Cups. You are losing out on a new opportunity because you are resisting the amount of change required to take up them. So if you haven't noticed, the Tower is change, and that change is inevitable. You can either accept said change and do it yourself and let it be more of the Tower with the Star, right? Or you can continue to resist it, put your head in the sand, and create a whole bunch of chaos and backlash in your own life. It's your choice. This is why I think the Tower gets really misunderstood. This is why it's also my favorite tarot card, because it's powerful energy. Are we comfy? Do we have any questions? Do we want to know anything else about the tower? Are we good to move on to the star card? Tower equal change, reversed equal resistance. Exactly. The tower can also sometimes show up to show us where we're delusional. I know that sounds weird, but like sometimes it'll be like, hey, like where are you kidding yourself? Where are you being a little bit delulu with your mind? Where are you not seeing the reality? Where are you allowing your illusions to kind of play tricks on you? And the more you see it from that POV, the easier it can become to allow change. But as always, I've said this in every other stream that we've done for lessons. The corresponding cards, so like the cards that are surrounding it, will help you to better understand what the card itself is telling you. So a singular card by itself is only going to give you a basis understanding, whereas the surrounding cards are going to give you not only the basis understanding, but a little bit more in depth of the story. And as I've said in every other Learning the Tarot stream, the end of the day, reading the tarot, it's about what you feel intuitively, not what you know consciously. So while it's important to have the basis of the cards' meanings, it's really important to be reading from an intuitive perspective. So that means paying closer attention to the imagery, paying a closer attention to your emotions, paying attention to the feelings around you, perhaps maybe any distractions that surface. In my professional opinion, when I am doing a client reading, anything that happens in that reading is for the client. So like if there's a dog barking outside, that's for my client. If my television glitches, that's for my client. I've actually been doing a reading before where the fire alarm in my apartment building went off, and I was like, well, that's an omen that you need to pay attention. It's always going to give you something deeper. Now I love the tower card. I told y'all. It's just a misunderstood energy because people see it. It's the same as death. Like people see those two cards and they're immediately triggered, immediately intimidated. But 9 times out of 10, they're both just symbolizing change. The only card that should be potentially triggering to people when they see it is the devil. And even that can be looked at in a more positive way. All right, are we comfy with the tower? Do we have any questions, or can we move on to the star? Okay. So, it is always all about perspective. So this is the star from the traditional deck. Beautiful imagery, very colorful, naked lady, pouring into the water, pouring into the earth. Then we have the star from the Lightseers. Still very colorful, not a naked lady, so doesn't depict the same level of vulnerability, in my opinion. Looking up at the sky, in my opinion, that shows the connection to the divine. It shows that the star card is usually really, to me, it's really connected to like spirituality. So in this particular depiction, I find they nail that. The part that I don't love is that they're lacking the vulnerability aspect. Because when you see a nude card, if it's not a sexual tarot deck, that's separate. But when you see a nudity in a card, it's supposed to show vulnerability. All right, give me differences. Since y'all didn't want to give me 5 differences the last time, give me like 3, okay? What do you see that is different in each one of these cards? Come on, y'all. There's no right or wrong. One uses bright colors and one uses darker. Okay. I like that. What else do we got? Just 2 more. One is looking towards the water and the other towards the light. Okay. And then one more. Traditional looks angelic. The other looks like self. I like that. Now, what do you guys feel? What comes to your consciousness when you look at these 2 cards? 5 answers this time. One is day and one is night. True. Intuition. Okay. What else do we got? Yin and yang, okay. The power lies within. Okay, 2 more. Giving and receiving. I like that. Pour into yourself to achieve your potential. Heart chakra. For some reason, I like that. A revolution. Opening of heart. I love that. So I'm going to be so real. And this is going to sound a little bit critical of, the tarot card itself. But, I don't know. I am that kind of a bitch sometimes. I don't love the modernized version of this imagery. I actually prefer this one. Because in this one, they're missing a lot of key factors, in my opinion. The star card is supposed to be about balance between dualities. It's about, how she's pouring into the water, but she's also pouring into the earth, which in my opinion is about nurturing yourself and nurturing your grounded connection to earth and your connections around. This card doesn't depict that very well. I find that this one is just kind of basic, whereas this one is a little bit more in depth. And that doesn't happen very often for this particular tarot deck, because I usually gravitate more towards the modernized version versus this one. But I find that this one, they just didn't understand the depth of the card's meaning to really depict it properly through the illustration. That's just my personal opinion. Y'all can have a different one. The one thing I do like that I think they did do quite well is that factor of how she's looking up to the sky, because the star card as a whole is usually your connection to source. It's your sense of faith, and it's your sense of connection to spirit. All right. So the alternative names for the star card are hope and then the stars. This is also associated with the strength card. The astrological sign or planet connected to it is Aquarius, the water carrier. Fun fact, I was 25, 26 years old when I realized I was an air sign. My whole life, I thought I was a water sign because Aquarius are the water bearer. Nope. And then when I found out, suddenly my whole life made fucking sense. Anyway, I digress. The element is obviously air. The Hebrew letter is Tazide. I can't pronounce those. I'm so sorry. I should just stop reading them. The symbol is a fishhook. The meaning in a brief is hope. The tree of life pathway is the 18th. The chakra is your higher heart. So whoever said heart chakra, there you go. For universal love. The key meaning is hope, guidance, and inspiration, as well as, I feel like there's one more. Hello. Why is it glitching on me? That's cool. Creativity. I knew there was one more. This also can connect to your sense of divinity, like I'd mentioned before. This is happiness. This is hope. This is a light at the end of the tunnel kind of omen. It's usually an omen of good fortune as well. It means things are turning up. It means things are kind of moving forward. And because it follows the tower, if you think about it in like the numerology link, this is like after the tower, here is the positive shift. Here is the hope returning to you. Here is the calmness returning to your senses or your nervous system. This is about faith and purpose and hope in a big way, okay? But one of the other things that I usually depict when I see this card is actually a renewed sense of your spiritual self, a renewed sense of your faith or your spirituality, because in brief, the star card can symbolize renewal and spirituality, and you put those two together with all the other energy that can come from this card, that's usually the omen I get. Some readers, I personally don't, but some readers will see this as a wish card. So like if this card comes up in a tarot reading, they might make a wish or they might tell their client to. Not something I've ever really resonated with or done, but some people do that. Now, in the reversal position, I'm sure y'all can guess. Do we have a guess? What does this mean reversed? Nothing? I like that answer. You are right, by the way. It also is an omen of a lack of faith. So if the upright version of the star card is about having faith and having hope and seeing things in a positive way and that light at the end of the tunnel. The reversed is going to be the opposite of that. It's going to be you are lacking faith. You're stuck in a cycle of despair. Maybe you have some lack of trust for yourself. It's also usually an omen of a disconnection. So you're feeling disconnected from yourself, your spirituality. I usually see it as like an omen of not only self-doubt, but like you're not trusting what your spiritual guides are telling you. You're not listening, you're feeling disconnected. Maybe you are actually not connected to your guides or source whatsoever. It's usually an omen to me of a need for grounding and a need for kind of getting back in touch with yourself. Do we have any questions about the star? Actually, I forgot to read you all the combinations, so we'll start with that. And if you have any questions, you can put them in the chat. So the star in the upright, if it's connected to the Fool, you have a great deal of faith and trust that life will play out as you want. The Magician, you are in an excellent position to deliver the vision you have. If it's next to the Hermit, your inspiration may not be understood by others and is instead something you want to keep to yourself for now. If the Ten of Cups is near it, lots of joy, positive feelings, and blessings in your life. The Ace of Pentacles is an omen of a personal transformation or a seed of inspiration. Could become a profitable business venture. Then if it's with the Six of Pentacles, you are feeling very generous and open to sharing your source of inspiration with others. Now, if it's in the reverse position, some combinations. The Tower, as we talked about. The star reversed with the Tower card. Upheaval and chaos resulting in a loss of faith. If it's with the Moon, feeling troubled or anxious about a situation. If it's with the Knight of Pentacles, boredom because of routine or administrative work. I usually just see that as like you're all work and no play. The Two of Swords, a lack of inspiration is leading you to become indecisive and blocked. And then lastly, the Six of Wands reversed is usually an omen of a personal failure or a setback of some sort that has become public and has damaged your personal reputation and or brand. I usually see that as an ego death. It doesn't need to be that deep. It doesn't need to be like some sort of an omen of like, you know, the sky falling. It's usually just an ego death. Now, do we have any questions connecting to the star? Or are we comfy moving on to the last card, which is the Moon? Okay. I've been chugging more water today than usual. So, this is the traditional. A lot going on. This is the modern. I love this card's imagery. I also think that they did a phenomenal job with the Moon's energy. So, give me 3 differences, y'all. Anyone? Hello? The woman underwater. Okay. 2 more. I'm sorry. Let's turn these lights off. Did that help? I feel like it makes it harder to see, but at the same time, they're giving me a migraine anyway, so... The sun/moon in one versus just the moon. Okay. Now, one more, everyone. What is a difference that you notice in these 2 cards, which is definitely difficult to see? The Scorpion. Okay. Now, what are some similarities? Give me 3 similarities. Let me see if I do this. Is that better? The wolves, okay. water, and one more. Just one more, everyone. Oh my god, my phone fell. Just one more. Similarity. Thank you. I was hoping one of you guys would say that. All right, now give me 5 things that come to your consciousness when you're looking at these cards. There's no right or wrong answer. Just what do you feel? What do you see? What do you think? Shadow work. Okay. Call to emotions. Okay. A calling. 2 more, everyone. Deep emotions. 1 more. Total opposites. I like that. So, first of all, in this particular imagery, I absolutely love the illustration for this particular deck. Bipolar could definitely be on this card. There are, like, I don't remember the guidebook in question that I used when I was first learning how to read the tarot, but there was a book I stumbled across in, like, the first 2 years of learning that actually showed you mental health illnesses and struggles that connected to different tarot cards. So, like, the devil, for example, if I'm remembering correctly, could correlate towards multiple personality disorder or BPD. Okay. And then, like, the death card was connected to depression, I want to say. Don't quote me though, but there is ways for you to figure that out if you are interested in that. So I digress. One of the things I love about this imagery, first and foremost, I love the depiction of the top of the water. But how I love it is oftentimes when people are in the moon's energy, it feels like you're drowning. And they literally have that visual. Because whenever I notice this card come up for a client or for myself or for a collective energy, I immediately notice the fact that the woman is underwater and it's like she's drowning in her emotions. She's drowning in her life. Whatever that correlates towards, okay? So the moon, the alternative names can be Illusion and then Luna, of course. The associated tarot card with it is the Hermit. This is connected to the astrology sign or planet Pisces, i.e. the fish. The water is the element for this one. The symbol is the back of the head. The meaning is hidden problems. The tree of pathway is 19. The chakra is your third eye for intuition, which shouldn't be shocking. This can tie to illusions, dreams, and crisis. The moon also connects to your intuition. It connects to your unconscious mind. It connects to mystery, as we said already, the illusions. And sometimes it actually can be an omen of secrets. Whether you're keeping secrets or someone connected to you is keeping secrets, it can just sometimes depict that. And in my opinion, those secrets are usually something you're feeling intuitively when the moon's energy is here. Because the intuition aspect of the moon is actually pretty dominant and it's not talked about a lot. The other aspect that I find people tend to forget is this is connected to your subconscious. And 9 times out of 10, the illusions that you're struggling with are coming from a position of fear or anxiety, from past trauma, from past patterns. That's going to be determined with the surrounding cards. Now, when the moon is in the reverse, do we have any guesses of what this might be? No guesses? Not a one? Not a singular guess? Emotional mood swings? I could see that. Usually this is an omen of a release of your fear. It's an omen of letting go. It's an omen of purging. Now, one of the things that almost always correlates when it comes to the moon in the reversed is there is a lot of confusion that connects to it. So even though you might be in a cycle of releasing a lot of fears and insecurities, there's still repressed emotions that are creating confusion within your mind. That's also going to depend on the surrounding cards, okay? So like I just said, like The cards are going to tell you a story when you use them together. So if you have this in the reverse position, you might be seeing some sort of confusion, but that confusion might not be pinpointable until you pull a second or third card. Then you might see, I don't know, let's say the Five of Pentacles comes out. That confusion is coming from poverty. It's coming from insecurity. It's coming from abandonment. You know what I mean? But that's how you determine it. Now, one of the things that I almost always notice with this that I feel like goes under the wayside a lot, meaning a lot of people forget, this is a huge omen of repressed emotions because you're not processing something. Because the moon's energy is so strongly associated with water, there is an aspect, especially because it's Pisces too, right? There's an aspect of this that you need to recognize what emotions are blocking you from moving forward. What are you repressing within yourself that is actually blocking you from shifting? So, the moon has some combinations. This is from the Ultimate Guide to Tarot by Biddy Tarot, by the way. If you are looking for the guidebook that gives combinations, it doesn't have like an insane amount of combos, but the moon and the high priestess, you are highly attuned to your subconscious mind and your psychic abilities are powerful. If I were to see the high priestess and the moon in the same spread close together, that would be a huge omen to me of someone who is also psychic. That would be, I personally think we're all psychic, but that would be an omen to me of someone who is actively working on their psychicness. Not a word, but we're making it one today. It could be a word. I don't know. Then the moon, if it's next to the devil, is actually an omen to be careful of manipulative or destructive people in your life, including yourself, who might take advantage of you. The moon next to the Seven of Cups is a huge omen that you're surrounded by illusions, unrealistic ideas, and fantasies. That is almost always an omen to me of someone in a deep delusional cycle or spiritual psychoses. The Two of Swords with the moon, you are engaging in self-deception and are refusing to see the truth. The moon with the Nine of Swords, your dreams and nightmares are troubling you. Go deeper to understand the hidden meaning associated to your fears. Now, the moon in the reverse position has some combinations as well. The Star, feeling serene, untroubled, and at peace, as of having a result of purged your fears and anxieties. So if this came out in the reverse with the Star next to it, that's an omen that you've done a lot of work, okay? Recently or in general. The Four of Cups with the moon reversed, meditation and inner reflection will help you understand a confusing situation. The moon reversed with the Eight of Swords, you are still trapped and limited by your negative self-talk and your fears. And that's the moon card. Do we have any questions? I'm going to turn this light off because it's now giving me a headache in a different way. What was the combo that indicated spiritual psychoses? The Seven of Cups with the moon. In either direction. In the reverse, it's going to be more likely that it's like being broken out of. But like when it's with the moon in the upright position. So like this particular guidebook has a moon and Seven of Cups combination. I'm the one saying that it connects to spiritual psychoses because that's just my personal opinion. But in the guidebook, it says you are surrounded by illusion, unrealistic ideas, and fantasies. For me, the moon and the Seven of Cups is an omen that you are stuck in a delusional cycle that could be bordering on spiritual psychoses, if not already in it. Now, in the reverse position, to me, that's going to show someone who is in the process of breaking out of that, who's trying to kind of overcome their fears and insecurities, but is still bound by confusion and repressed emotions. Do we have any other questions? Ugh, that was my shoulder, in case you were curious. Because I'm old. I forgot that I had a completely unmade bed behind me because I'm doing laundry. Kind of drives me a little bit cuckoo for Cocoa Puffs that that's going to be on my stream. It is. It's, what is it called? For those of you that have Kindle Unlimited, you can get it through Kindle Unlimited app for free, but it's called the Ultimate Guide to Tarot Card. It's also on my Amazon storefront. I don't love this one anymore, but I also don't really use the guidebook as much as I did in the beginning because I've been reading for a long time. And I want you to remember that, like, this is supposed to be a tool, but you're supposed to understand the cards yourself, okay? So, like, getting focused on the combinations for these cards can actually put you into a bit of a cycle with it. And ultimately, combinations are great if they align, but they don't always need to. Do we have any other questions connected to any of the cards that we did today or anything relating to the major arcana? Because I think we're pretty close to the end. Next week we'll be done the major arcana. And then don't forget to go vote on Instagram for if you want to do the minor or if you want to do a second collective reading per week. I'd be happy to do either. I'm going to let y'all decide. If we do the minor, I'm going to mention one of the things that I had decided to do for that. We're going to go through the cards in brief. I'm hoping to be able to get through each suit in each stream, but that could be a little bit unrealistic. So I'm just going to, like, we'll test it out for the first, if we do the major arcana next week, or not next week, the week after, we'll test it out and see where we get through the first suit. So the first suit we'd do would probably be cups, which is your emotions, by the way. And then we'll see if we can get through the whole thing, or if we can only get through, like, ace to, like, I don't know, 5 or ace to 10. And then we could do a separate stream for the court cards connected to each suit after we finish the suit. Honestly, that's probably the best way to do it. Because I find a lot of people get confused by the court cards and they don't really understand how to read. Like the Page of Cups, for example, could be harder to read than, say, the Ace of Cups. Because I know when I was first learning to read the tarot, one of the things that I struggled with were the court cards. So perhaps we'll do the Ace through to the 10 in kind of like a brief way, and then we'll do the court cards separately. Following each suit, though, it would just be 2 separate streams. Which means this learning the tarot streaming would probably go into, I want to say, almost mid-June, if we did it that way. And then at that point, we can start doing collective readings, like a second collective reading, because I don't know what else to teach y'all, unless something comes to me before then. But yeah, don't forget to vote on what you want. And I'm assuming we don't have any questions because no one said anything in the chat. So I'm probably going to hop off early today because I have no water left. And I have to finish my laundry, as you can tell. And I have to upload today's Patreon rating, so. Which means I also have to edit it. I just want this week to be over, guys. I'm so tired. And I don't even really get a break this weekend because it's effing Easter. So next week we're going to be doing the Sun, Judgment, and the World. And I'm assuming because no one has said anything, there's no questions or concerns. So I'm going to end the stream here about 10 minutes early today, but I did start a little bit early as well. This stream will be up on the VOD, will be posted, on here for the next week. And then it will also be uploaded on my YouTube channel if you would like to watch it later. I also have been trying to put them on my YouTube channel so that you guys can always come back to them and access them. Yeah, and if there's anything I missed, write it down and ask me next week. That being said, next week we will be doing a collective energy reading on the 7th of April, which is crazy, at 11 a.m. Eastern Standard Time as usual. And then we will do the learning the tarot for the last 3 major arcanas on that Thursday. The Sun, Judgment, yes. So no, it'll not the swords. The Sun, Judgment, and the World. And then if we do the minor arcana, it will be the week after, but I'll probably start with the Cups cards. The Suit of Cups. But you guys got to go vote for what you want. If you want the minor arcana, you need the votes for it. I'm kidding. If that's what you guys want, then that's what you guys would get. Oh my god, I can't talk all of a sudden. I've had a long week. I just want to be a potato, but I still have so much to do. I'm over being an adult, y'all. Anyway, I love y'all. I hope you have a wonderful rest of your day. And I will see you on here next Tuesday for a collective energy reading. And then again on Thursday for the last lesson for the major arcanas. Have a wonderful weekend. For those of you that celebrate Easter, I hope you have a good Easter with your family. If you don't celebrate, I hope you just have a good weekend in general. I love y'all, and I hope you have a good rest of your day.